By the early 80s, something subtle had begun to change. The house was no longer a construction site. Children were settled. The land felt familiar beneath our feet. And Geert, he had found his rhythm again. His first exhibitions in Penticton and Kelowna came sooner than either of us expected. I remember the opening night, the quiet hum of people arriving, the soft conversation drifting between the sculptures, the mixture of nerves and pride in Geert's eyes. We had come to Canada hoping for a new beginning, but we could not have known it would unfold so quickly.
I was always interested in making art. When I was a child, I was always drawing and had some chalks, and so I was always interested in portraying people or working in clay, and that's how I got started. The curator, Geert Lyman, did an excellent job picking the works alongside with me and also to lay out the whole exhibition. So they all stand on their own, they have their merit artistically. So what you always want to do after your artwork is finished is to show it to somebody. Some people, like to have an in-depth information how the work was done, what it portrays. Other people don't care too much, they just look at an artwork and give their own interpretation. Especially when there are school classes and they come to my studio sometimes, they came today here to view the exhibition. It's very important that they get interested in art, because as a child, if you don't get exposed to art, it's pretty hard later on to catch up because it is too foreign for you. So I think that the programs like in the Kelowna Art Gallery and in the schools where they expose kids to art and exhibitions is very, very important. The works, the big majority has been all made in Kelowna in my studio, so this is a really Kelowna exhibition. You will find a lot of sculptures in different media, also paintings in different media like acrylic, lacquer, some etchings, medallions. So it is a cross-section of the things that I do, and it should show the versatility of my work.
Those first shows were small, but meaningful. People lingered over the sculptures. They asked questions, curious questions, thoughtful ones, and I found myself explaining his work in ways I had not realized I knew how to do. I always said I'm not an artist, but somehow I became the translator between Geert's hands and the world that received them. By 1983, he was invited to judge the Okanagan Valley Jury Show in Kamloops, alongside Daphne Odig and Steve Manny. It was a moment of quiet affirmation, not a loud success, but the kind that whispers, "You belong here." His workshop in Penticton was another turning point. People watched him work with clay, the way he coaches life from nothing but earth and patience. and I could see in their faces that they understood something essential about him, that he was not only a sculptor, but a builder of worlds. Then came the Vernon exhibition, with viewers walking slowly, taking in each bronze and stoneware piece as if they were reading a story, one page at a time. These shows were modest compared to what would come later, but they were important. They were steps, steady, deliberate, sure. And in the background, life continued. The children grew taller, new friendships deepened. We found our favorite places, the library, the lake, the small museum that doubled as the city's art gallery. This was also the time Geert began to notice the cultural differences between Europe and Canada. In the Netherlands, art is woven into daily life, on street corners, in public squares, in conversations over coffee. Here, everything was wider, quieter, more spread out. People spoke more about money than culture, more about practicality than imagination. It took some adjusting for all of us, but slowly the spaciousness became an opportunity. Because in that quiet, Geert's sculptures began to speak. By 1984 and 1985, something remarkable was happening. More exhibitions, more invitations, more people coming to the studio to watch him work. And then the cameras arrived.
Although I have my own gallery and sculpture garden at home, it's of course very important that I show my work in a public gallery as well. This exhibition is what you call a retrospective. I started off in painting in the Netherlands, then I went to art school, did mainly sculpture, came to the Okanagan, continued in sculpture, and came back to painting as I have done 30 years ago. If I, all of a sudden discover something new, I think, I'm going to try that too.
They filmed him shaping clay, explaining his process, wiping his hands on an old cloth as he talked about form and presence and the weight of bronze. When I saw him on television for the first time, I felt something warm rise in my chest. Pride, yeah, but also gratitude. Canada had not only welcomed us, it had made room for him. Visitors began arriving unexpectedly. Having seen the coverage, they walked through the gardens, pausing often, sometimes silent, sometimes full of questions, and in their footsteps I sensed a shift, the beginning of a conversation between Geert's art and the community around us. Those years were filled with small victories that did not always look like triumphs. A gallery invite here, a workshop there, a newspaper mention, a school group wandering shyly through the garden. But together they formed a foundation, a sense of belonging, a slow but certain recognition that the seeds we planted, both literal and artistic, were taking root in this new land. By 1985, Kelowna no longer felt like a place we had moved to. It felt like a place we had become part of. And in the quiet moments between all the busyness, the exhibitions, the renovations, the visitors, I would sometimes walk the garden path and think, this is working. This life we dreamed of across an ocean, it is happening right here, one sculpture at a time. By the mid-80s, life had taken on a new rhythm, one that felt fuller, wider, almost as if the world itself was opening its arms to us again. In 1984, we decided to take a long trip to Mexico. 45 days, 5 of us packed into a vehicle that was perhaps too small for the adventure we had planned, but that's often how the best memories begin. We stayed in motels the first week, easing ourselves into the journey. Then the real adventure started. Driving through small towns, camping near Guaymas, and venturing all the way down to Puerto Vallarta. The ferry ride to Cabo San Lucas made all of us sick except Geert. We spent a beautiful warm Christmas on camping Cabo Cielo to further our journey on the Baja California, driving north, crossing borders towards home. The children had homework to bring back in January, and we tried, with mixed success, to keep them focused between beaches, markets, and the constant turn of discovery. I still remember the flooded roads called Vados near San Ignacio. Cars lined up for hours, everyone waiting, hoping the water would lower. But instead of frustration, something beautiful happened. People got out, helped each other, shared food, shared stories. Even in a delay, there was community. Another time, when we ran low on fuel in the middle of nowhere, an elderly man appeared as if from a storybook. He sold us enough airplane fuel to reach the next rancho. I can still see his gentle smile as he waved us on. It was a reminder that kindness exists everywhere, even in the most remote and dusty roads of life. That journey changed us. It showed our children a new world. It deepened our appreciation for cultures shaped by color, resilience, and joy. And it gave Geert a different kind of inspiration, shapes of mountains, the way light falls on old adobe walls. Travel has a way of feeding an artist's soul. When we returned to Kelowna, something felt different. Not the land, but in us. We were ready for more, and the world seemed ready for Geert. In 1985, his exhibition spread farther across Canada. Prince George, Richmond, and beyond. Gallery directors learned his name. Collectors began to appear at the studio. Some unexpectedly, some shy, some bold. And with them came the first stories that now feel like part of our family folklore. The Vancouver client who quietly bought 6 sculptures in one afternoon. The debate about pricing, the laughter, the lessons, That year, the cameras returned too. They filmed him working on pieces like the guard, the clay slabs, the armature inside, the slow shaping of forms that always seemed to carry both strength and gentleness. I remember standing off to the side as he spoke, watching the crew take in his process with fascination. To them, it was art. To us, it was simply life. Then, in 1986, something remarkable happened. His work traveled farther than we ever had, to the Ernst Museum in Budapest, to exhibitions in Europe, Asia, and across North America. We could not accompany the sculptures, of course, but they went anyway, crossing borders and languages, carrying his voice with them. I imagine strangers standing before those bronzes, feeling something of the man who shaped them, in a small studio next to a cedar house in Kelowna. And even as the world grew larger, our home grew fuller. We added new gallery spaces inside the house. We built a larger studio with extra storage space, replacing the old shed. Visitors began leaving messages in a guest book that filled faster than we expected. Notes of wonder, gratitude, curiosity. Each signature felt like a thread connecting us to a wider community. Those years were not glamorous. They were still full of work, heavy, physical work, and the studio smelled of clay more than anything else. But there was a feeling rising around us, something that had not been there before. Momentum. It wasn't sudden, it wasn't loud, it came in quiet ways. The invitations, the workshops, the recognition, the people who returned repeatedly just to walk the garden path. And somewhere during those years, I began to understand that what we were building was not only a home, not only a studio, not only a garden. We were building a place where art could live. A place where our children grew up surrounded by creativity and perseverance. A place where visitors felt something they could not quite name. A place where Geert's hands turned earth and fire into forms that would last long after we are gone. Looking back now, I can see that these years, the exhibitions, the travel, the friendships, the long days in the studio were shaping something larger than we ever imagined. The beginning of a legacy.